Hello. Let's see. Hi, everybody. Welcome to the call. Welcome to our monthly Light the Way. I'm sorry, I'm trying to check this here. What the heck? Want to see who's here. Fascinating. I can't find that, even though I've done it before. Well, hello, everybody. Good month of March to you. I see there's about 7 of us right this minute. Let me check on that again. Hi, Laura. I can hear you. So, Laura, there's, I can't figure out where that is. There's a little number at the top. Hi, guys. I'm sorry about this. But I can't see who's here. I always like to, but I can't.
I'm having the same thing as you, Grace. I'm trying to figure it out. We are on a new version of Webinar Jam this month, and everything's changed a little bit. So hopefully it'll be a lot more smooth, but for some reason we can't see people's names yet.
Oh, there we go. It's on the little, underneath the little wheel thing on the blue bar on the side. There's a little thing that says enable chat, I think it said.
I have that going, so I can see Teresa and Donna, but I can't see who else is here if they haven't said hello.
Haven't said hello, maybe. Yeah, you're right. If we could just see everybody. Interesting. So yes, everyone, we got a new version of Webinar Jam, and we've been trying to smooth things out for weeks now. And so here we are on the new version, and so it should work comparatively better than before. Hi, Dachin. Dachin's here from Hawaii, and thanks for getting her that. Hi, Lilia. Hi, Donna. Hi, Teresa. I'm so happy you're all here. We've got a few more coming on. Whenever you guys want to say hi, please say hi. So welcome to March's Light the Way channeling session. Hi, Kathy. Hi, Valerie. I love seeing everybody here, really and truly. It's awesome. So this month, we don't technically have a theme. And, you know, those of you who've been with us on the monthly call, I cannot believe we've been doing it a year, over a year now. We're into March. And that's so exciting. Hi, Susan. And yay. I'm so happy everybody's here. So sometimes we do the months where we don't have a topic, and sometimes we do have a topic. And as I was kind of milling around this morning, trying to get myself ready and focusing in, and I did a little breath work, I did a little opening, I did my thing to get myself in the way. I was having a lot of various downloads, like kind of an infiltration of a lot of information and energies and sort of these ideas about topics and stuff. And so I just said my own little prayer and blessing for this opportunity for us to come together. And the one theme that was kind of coming up to me, and they may or may not talk about this, but I felt a little pull to share from my perspective, is that there is, you know, if you're on this journey at this point in time and you're consistently coming back around either to the work with me and Osairah or any other spiritual endeavors that you're on and connections and your own path of awakening, there is sometimes there are really particular pivot points. There's moments where we shift radically and we shift a lot, and then the life catches up and we have to alter our way in the world. And I'm seeing that not only in my own life, but I am seeing that in the lives of people I work with. If I go out into the world, one of the things, because I'm super and so highly attuned and sensitive, I can actually feel how people are shifting in places like the grocery store. And I don't mean just shifting. I mean some of, their feelings of how I pick it all up is basically super empathic. And then what happens is I have to release that, and I have to get the solidity of who I am. And so one of the things that has been coming up to me is, how do we transform old paradigms of our belief system, old ways of behavior, old ways of being, when the new is trying to take root, when the new paradigm is moving in, when the pivot point has turned you into a new direction and you're not completely so stable on that path yet. And so speaking about that from my perspective, I'm going to put out there to you some of what was being reminded for me. And some of that is breath work. I mean, breath work is super powerful. And those of you who've dropped in with breath work, either with us, with me in the workshops, or in another way, or you've done other breath works, breath is super empowering for consciousness. It's literally a bridge of consciousness, bridge for consciousness. So breath is very important. And how you're breathing, paying attention to how you're breathing, paying attention to what your thoughts are and what the body's response is to the thought. If you're thinking things that are causing you to feel anxious and aggravated, then it would be really beneficial to take a few minutes and just to center and really prioritize your thinking and drop in possibly for a few minutes of just deep breath. It doesn't have to be a big, long production. It doesn't have to be a technique. It could just be, how do I balance my body, my mind, my spirit at this time so that I can keep being on this new pivot or on this new paradigm or on this new expansion part of the path. So, light the way, this monthly recording and experience for us here in a group community online instead of being in person, which I still love my group experiences, and there will be coming one up soon. But to be able to come together like this as a touchstone and have a recording for the lots of people who don't make it to the actual live download today. So there are a lot of people who are signed up, but who don't get to come every Wednesday or at first month of every Wednesday, and they get to hear the recording like you later. The reason this is happening is because the download for lighting the way came really and clearly as a way to hold the light through the darkness, because we are unraveling thousands and thousands of years of programming, of glitches within our own DNA, almost old programs, not just ancestral stuff of pain that we carry, which is true, but literally we've been, in some cases along the way, as beings of consciousness, we've been manipulated, and it is in our DNA. So and that's still going on. I mean, really, there's a lot of manipulation happening. It happens through our food. It happens through the air. It happens through television. It happens through our phone. It happens through our devices. It happens in things that you see, the eyes, and the way that the third eye and your two eyes create this triangle, this pyramid of receptivity to light. Light is information. Our sun is a information carrier. It is literally like the father of consciousness. So as the light comes to us as form of consciousness, to better stabilize that consciousness that is expanding in a body, it helps to be able to have receptors that are actively receiving and digesting, if there's a better word there, probably is a better word there, the light and the light codes. So I also offer this to you today, and I've shared this in pretty much every single workshop and as many times as I can. Take in sunlight. Take in sunlight. You don't have to open your eyes. You don't have to tan for 15, 20 minutes, you can, but I'm talking about taking in sunlight on a regular basis, letting it hit your third eye, taking it in through the closed eyes, creates an opening in the pineal gland, the hypothalamus, all of these, the pituitary gland, all this activates, connects with the occiput of the brain stem and the spinal cord, and we wake up more. So we've kind of been fed a lie, if I'm so bold to say, that the sun is a bad thing. Wear tons of sunscreen. I'm not saying if you know that you burn really bad, I'm not saying don't wear sunscreen, or I would say get some really healthy sunscreen. Don't get the chemical sunscreen. But we've been kind of fed a lie that the sun is radiation and toxicity to us. It is if it's to an extreme, but there is light and information there. So in this way, for us to continue expanding on the path and on the journey of our own awakening, here we are lighting the way. Well, we got to pass on the information, and I'm passing on this information as much as I can, and do deeper work for yourself on this level. Sun gazing is a great thing to do, but you can only do sun gazing in the first few minutes on sunrise and the first few minutes as the sun is actually on the very end of the horizon. And there's a technology to that. So that is another offering to reflect back to you for the pivoting that I believe so many of us are doing, because there's so much energy shifting all the time on this planet. The other thing I'm noticing, and I'm going to go here in a second, is the thing that I'm noticing is that a lot of people, and I like to talk about multidimensional living a lot, and I that's where I am and all of that, but we are stabilizing a lot of multidimensional aspects of ourselves. And so that can be very discombobulating. And I guess probably why I'm talking about this with you straight up today, this moment, like getting right down to it, is because I was having some of that this morning. I was getting really inundated with multi-dimensional consciousness, not only as me in different timelines, but an influx. It's just like sometimes the system cannot take how much information is coming in. And so if you feel that way, if you feel super discombobulated, like, what is my own reality? What's really happening here? Oh my God, it's too much. Or sometimes that shows up in a little bit of anxiety in the body, in the mind. And then if we don't have a reference point for what is happening there, we can feel crazy and we can feel like we're losing our mind. And so I really want to bring you back to center. And my greatest tool, in all sincerity, is, sometimes I get down on my knees and I ground with my belly and my knees and I lay flat out and I'm just grounding. And then I'm also praying to, allow myself to accept what is happening in my body, in my mind, in my heart, my soul, my spirit. And then I also do breath work and meditation. And those things are super, super key. Also, just so you know, one way to move the energy through you, if you're feeling like you're getting inundated with tons of energy and trying to acclimate all this stuff, it is never acclimated from the mind. Sometimes we need to move the energy through and out of our body. So it's really healthy to take a heavy, brisk walk, or go climb a mountain or some hills or some trails, or go, if you prefer, going to the gym or doing a yoga class. Take the energy that is moving through you. Some of it won't need to stay, and it needs its outlet to be moved off. So meditation alone, I wouldn't say is the full answer, because we're very complex beings. And it is at these times I'm feeling, and you can let me know if this is something that you guys feel too, but I'm feeling that there's so much energy shifting that we have to continually be in the process of cleansing and clearing ourselves. So take great salt baths. All these things that I teach, I'm reminding you of. So that's where I'm at. If anybody has anything to share, I'd love to hear it. And as I said in the beginning, we don't necessarily have a topic, but we'll see what what Osairah has to say today. And yeah, I think that's it. Okay. I am going to take a minute and go in. And the other thing I wanted to say is Laura is able to read your comments or questions. So for yourself, for the other wonderful people in the group, you can text or chat, type your chat question. And if Osairah asks for questions, then your question can get asked. But if you don't type it in ahead of time, it probably won't get to be asked. So there it is. Yeah. All right, you guys. So much love for you beautiful ladies. Most of the people right here are ladies. So many exciting things coming. Okay. I will see you all soon. Indeed, greetings to you, dear ones. We are that one known as Osairah, and we are, in fact, as always, overjoyed to be in this alignment with you. We are recognizing you. We are recognizing the way in which we are connected to our physical beloved channel, the way in which the energies are pulled to the configuration of the system that is in play here, energetically speaking. We are recognizing that we are in participation, the 6 of us on each side of the 12 of us in total. We are recognizing the way in which we are recognizing the way in which the 9th dimension in consciousness and 11th dimension in consciousness. We would say, when we say consciousness, we say to you all, you have participations as well in these dimensional frequencies, or else we would not be in participation with you on that level, on those levels. It would not be a receptivity for you. So the aspects of your own being in your ways of participation in consciousness, the ineffable, eternalness of your being is in part collectively connected to not only each other, but that which we just spoke of, the dimensions. And when we speak of dimensions, sometimes it is perceived like a place, can be perceived like a place, but it is more of you would understand to be, how should we say it? It's different like that. We would also consider it like, or can language it like, similar to realms, but the realms are not separate from where you stand in this very moment. The eternalness of the now moment, the presence that you are, the eternal beingness of your own consciousness is literally eternal life and eternal light. When we say to some of our human friends in the past of years, when we have said to our human friends that you are immortal beings, it is true to say that on so many levels. You are consciousness that never has what is known as the idea around death. Death is a non-thing. It is always an ever eternal expansion of your consciousness and being. So we are bringing forth today in this conversation, recognizing how it is that our beloved channel did a bit of an opening about what she has been personally going through, and is what she is personally in the embodiment experiencing in the awakening of her own soul's concentration of consciousness. That it is not always, as she said, easy to be in the full acceptance of this expansion. And in some ways, we really want to sit down for a moment on that thought, because your physical expression of being is amplifying photonic light that is changing the systems of consciousness in humans. There is also a expansion that is happening on your planet that is been for a very long time in its trying to hold certain tenets to the earthly plane as you know it, the third dimensional reality. These energetic focuses, how should we say that differently? We don't want to label it like that, but we will say the beings that are participating in that way participate in their own particular desire for their agenda, you could say. And you see it all around you. And some people call this the light and the dark, the war of the light and the dark. And we have had our conversations about that as well. And we bringing it up this time in particular because you are, each of you who are here in this moment and listening at a different time, are in this connection with us because you are on that expansion road. You are in the expanded experience of photonic light as it is expanding human consciousness, and in part through your DNA waking you up. You could never be here now doing any parts of your life expression and existence if this was not already cellularly coded within all aspects of the beingness that which you are. One thing we would like to acknowledge that we are not certain we have said ever quite like this before, and we will say it now because it is a new time, we will really assure you. You have all come into new aspects of being as you have crossed certain thresholds in the last many months. We would say the last 6 to 9 months have been extreme thresholds of crossing that many of you do to wake yourself up and to keep on the path of your own eternal expansion. And we do mean that, for it is not about getting somewhere. It is simply about the continual expression of expansion of life knowing itself upon life as itself, as love, which is the creation principle itself, which is true source. True source is the creation literally of all beingness. That is consciousness. Consciousness is, as we were going to say, that we have never said this quite the same way, that consciousness, as you are the form of consciousness. You have taken a body in a physical way, which is in and of itself miraculous. Literally, we will tell you, the way in which form emanates through and as into the third dimension reality is sometimes perceived, well, this could be heaven or this could be hell. And either way, it is magnificent. What you are experiencing on your experience of being in a physical form of the body, you are in an ascension process. That ascension process is waking you up to who you really are, what you really are, how you really are. And that at times on the journey, dependent upon the soul's incarnation and the quotient of light that has been agreed upon, can be an extreme and extraordinary walk as human beings. So when we give this to you this day, we are in so much, the word would be reflective love for you. We are reflecting the love that you really are. You are magnificence in form. You are consciousness as form. In a body, you are form. You are the form of consciousness. If you can but see yourself that way, we say, always. If you can remember that there is not the person who you believe you are, it is not your job, your body, your way of being in the world, your defects of character or your pluses, It is not the things you have acquired or the things you have let go of or the things you have transcended even. You are eternal presence of awareness, of consciousness, having its expression through and as you in the remembrance that that is what is happening. So we say, as we reflect this, our ability to continue to expand our language through our beloved channel at these times as it continues on. So we have walked this road 10 years with her, and now there will be the years to come because people are ready. More and more of you are waking yourself to the next level of consciousness. Your photonic light expression is changing literally the connectors of your DNA and waking you up. The old, we want to say malignant, is this right? Malignant. Seems to be, could be. Corrupted, there's a good word for it. The old corrupted system that was in place and throughout many, many lifetimes, in part by extraordinary forces that wanted to have domination in consciousness, is not what you are now beginning to know is necessary for you to experience. You are beginning to wake up from the dream. As you step into this path further and further and further, and take yourself down what we say some of our human friends call down the rabbit holes, for you to expand the potentialities of what you understand, and to not be, as we say sometimes, spoon-fed the old ideas. If you are allowing yourself to continue on this path and awaken yourself over and over, more and more, and remember that you are the eternal presence of life itself, expressing itself upon itself, as itself, through itself, with each other as itself, you begin to understand that really you have not known what has been going on here at all. And when you come to that place, when you come in a full surrender to the utter knowing, I know not what is happening here, not even within me. When you have that knowing, and the knowing becomes a knowing of, how should we say that? Where should we say that? Release. Knowing not in the I am presence way. It becomes that you know nothing. You become the force of the availability to be full in receptivity. One of the things we would say about being in receptivity is it is in many ways, right? It is the divine feminine's nature to be receptive. As you begin to be more receptive, the codes that are connected to the force of the divine feminine, that is the mother head of all creation, becomes a part of the living matrix that you are, and you wake yourself up differently each day. To be in that doing, to be in that way, to be in that process, to be in that experience, direct experience, creates some instability, creates some not knowingness, creates even at times the insecurity that gets wrapped up around the idea of, I don't know my place here. And that is okay. It is also a part of the process, we would tell you. If this begins to be in any way a part of your experience, please know that you can stabilize. Please know that you can hold to the truth of the truth, that you will never die, that you are, and that, real dear ones, is often a place where fear is so highly activated, because when the threat of death comes, which comes through many forms, not just the idea of if I die, because some people carry this death energetic in relationship to, it would be easier if I died. Oh, I wouldn't mind dying. And this is a false program as well, because it keeps you away from the truth of how it is that you can surrender fully to what is, on some level, many layers of an ego death. As the egoic constructs, that which hold you to survival mechanisms in the world that became in place when you were a small child, for survival mechanisms, for the consciousness to stay in alignment with the physicality of being in form. You are now along the way in a process to let go, deconstruct, release, shed, melt down, that which is those programs, that which is the idea that there is fear around the feeling of death. The expression that you hold then can become, it is more like a literal rebirth, more than that. It is more like coming to new life. It is more to coming to the remembrance of I am on this, I am the expression of consciousness, and I am on this accelerated path of consciousness awakening in a physical body, and through this body I am the literal miracle of life. So as this becomes a part of your literal expansion and experience, you can hold to the strongholds of your own beingness. Your own beingness becomes revealed to you as everything that which you are not falls away. And so we say, begin at the state of what that which you know is something else within you. That is not the stress, that is not the fear, that is not the anxiety, that is not the to-do list, that is not the place where you think you must do or get somewhere at all. It is the place of presence. It is the place of awareness. It is the place of beingness of that which is here. It is not the mind. It is not even actuality, the heart. It is literal consciousness of all source energy. That is sometimes we do note this pull into the conversation, the idea that some discuss this as not the personality or personhood, and not what you would consider no thought. It is in this in-between place where the truth lies. You are eternalness of being. And how you can live in the world as that expression definitely will bring up what is not, that is real. So when we speak about real, what we mean too is to say much of what is that you are perceiving in this worldly experience is not as real as you would think it is. Some speak about this, and we have spoken about this many times, as the matrix of which you are living and creating. And in effect, there are millions of matrices upon billions of matrices within this experience of the holographic life expression through your body, through the form in consciousness. So as this becomes more aware, what becomes here in your amplification of living is to remember that you are changing, to give yourself the grace and patience that is so afforded you at every breath you take in form. Give yourself the love. And remember that when you are perceiving changes happening out here, you are perceiving changes happening in here. And as you are in here experiencing those changes, what you will perceive out there begins to change. And the matrix connection begins to lose its stranglehold on you, and the authority of the sovereign being can come online and participate with all that you really are in consciousness. It's like, how should we say that? It is like if you have been running a car on fumes, if you are running on the lowest bit on your gas gauge, or there is just a bit more and you've been running on fumes, you've been going at the slowest possible to go as far as you possibly could on the lowest amount of gasoline or fumes in this car. And now we are saying to you, you have just been filled up. How do you handle that? Well, you handle that by perceiving to go at a bigger rate, but you cannot always go at that bigger rate. You have to understand how to operate the car. You've been driving it so very long on such a slow speed. It's been going so slow and it has been taking so long, and you haven't known how to really anchor and hold that car, because if you were so afraid to keep it going at all, you would run out of fumes. We say once your car becomes fueled and you begin to learn how to drive again, you expand into the consciousness that you are, and the world and the life that you are having through and as you literally becomes a new life. This is a lot. We know we are dropping in quite a bit. There are, as we said, radical changes happening upon your earth in every corner of the worldly experience. And this is feeding collective pots of timelines and informations, pieces that are running through the collective consciousness. So what we would say to you as you are here with us in this moment on what is this path particular to wake yourself up is knowing that there are so many collective pots. Pay attention to the pots that you are feeding. You are living in a time where there is great entrapment for your attention. There is a great vie, is that the word vie? There's a vie for your attention. And that vie for your attention is in very, very many places for distraction, to pull the light of your consciousness down to distraction levels, down to powerlessness levels, down to hopelessness levels. Yes, certain things are the experience outside. We are not saying you must ignore those experiences, but we are also saying see things from that broader perspective, that in divine right order, there is no thing that is inherently wrong. This is just the play of the expression of life as it is, creation, ability, as anything is possible. As in, that is what you are seeing. And so as you are seeing this and filtering so much of this through your own system, your system cannot amplify to its next highest potentialities if you are always distracted or feeding and fueling other agendas, other energies, collective bands of grief and pain and war and sorrow and powerlessness and hopelessness and sickness and dis-ease and disconnection, all of the ways that that is being fed and proliferated upon your planet, in part not only by the wars that are definitely not the true human being's desire. We would say to you, the true human being's desire is to elevate and to wake up in consciousness for peaceful harmony of unification. The unified field of consciousness is calling humanity and those who are awakened enough to hear to that order, to that alignment, to that frequency. And the old that you see, which is a very deep and dark program that is played out with violence and torture and played out with some of what you also see in the world, extreme sorrow, dis-ease, manipulation, the ways in which people harm and hurt each other or themselves and are locked into those systems and those programs. If you can see it that way, you can understand that it is necessary to pull yourself out first of those programs and fully awaken and align your own light of ascension so that you may hold that frequency and fuel it into a reality field that is all around you. It's like the bandwidths we've talked about before. Many bandwidths and many timelines are operating simultaneously. They're simultaneously occurring in all timelines of experience, time and space, as you understand it. And so you are like an electromagnetic charge. What are you feeding? What are you plugging into? So when you take back your sovereignty and you know who you are, or at least you are waking yourself, trying to remember, willing to remember, surrendering to remember, aligning yourself to wake yourself up, to let go of what you think you thought you knew, to become anew, to die to the old ways, the old life, the new you becomes more attuned to the firmament of what you stand upon. If you be that and do that, you plug in to the higher realms. Now, we are saying this to you as the higher realms, giving it that languaging because it is helpful to you from where you stand in the third dimension. It is helpful for you to see it that way while holding a form in humanity the way that you are at this time. When more of your DNA connections align and literally plug and wake up. There are many that are shut down literally, but when more of them awake up and plug in, turn on, the light goes on in the dark room and the other lighted rooms plug into each other, you will become and do become a new human being. Your life will not be the same as it was before. And that is a great and graceful moment. That is a huge opportunity. We would say to you, and as you accept that and keep opening to that and keep plugging into those fields of connection that are all around this planet that are amplifying this consciousness to wake up, you fuel the higher lights. What happens then is you change. You become the life expression of consciousness in a form of a body to have itself revealed through the form of the body. You are an awakened being, but do not fool yourself or let yourself be fooled by others by the idea that that comes through mental constructs of mental understanding. Farthest thing from it. It comes from the direct experience of the awakening of the soul light of the human being, of the consciousness within the structure of form of the beingness. And how you get there is all of that which we have said. And we would also say that as you plug into that, what happens is this, as it is understood, an ascension process. And as the ascension process becomes a part of the framework, the beingness of a body, the consciousness can step forward. That looks like an enlightened being, as is termed in your language. This form coming through the body becomes an enlightened being. It is no longer the same personality or person you were before, and that is okay. But there is an adjustment period that happens. Now, we will also say that as that begins to happen and adjust, you will attract, your life will connect to the beings who are already stabilized there and holding that frequency. and we round back down to, that is what is called fifth dimensional living, multi-dimensional living. You are all trying to amplify and change, those of you on the path. You are trying to amplify and embody the allness of your being. The allness of your being is multi-dimensional. You are beyond a definition of personhood. You are beyond a definition of what you think you are or can be or will get to be. You are all of it. And so in the way of getting to multidimensional anchoring, you step into the fifth dimensional consciousness. You will not be the same kind of being. For some, that is very terrifying. For some, that is a welcome home moment. For some, there is this middle ground where you are just understanding there's a massive change here. There is something happening beyond what I can perceive of. I will allow the continuation to be anchoring through and as me. I will do what it is that is pulled within the highest realms of this beingness to be the love that is expressed through this body temple of experience. This is the awakening. This is what you are in, beloved ones. And this we know, as we say it all this day through our beloved channel, in part, accelerated through her own process as it is perfectly, because she cannot contain that which she is not being. She cannot allow for that even to come through the body physically unless it is happening through and as her too. This is not a separation here. What you see called the one known as Grace, physical body, and the ones you know as Osairah, the 12 of us, in one particular sitting, we would say, because there are many of us, as you know, the family of light, just particular 12 that come each and every time, because literally that is all the system of the body temple, of the physicality of this one known as Grace can hold as the frequency. And that, dear ones, is a lot. And so we would say to you, this one has to continue the amplification to be the living embodiment of that which we can bring through. And so there is a deep and long-held partnership here. And it is very sacred in the offering of 12 that we are each time, and the one here in a multidimensional body aspect of being that seems to be 13 holding the space. And that is so. The reason we tell you this is so that you understand that in this way, the connection is amplified to you. You are literally, by way of the vibrational frequency of the electromagnetic frequency you carry, you are emanating to receive this particular light code transmission. That is what is happening. Light upon this planet is not just talking about light and frequency from the sun. Light is what you are. You are information of creation. That is what you are. Light is love. Love is light. It is the expansion. There is not the absence of darkness. Darkness is included in all of that. There is no separation. All that exists is all that you are. You are everything. So as you are perceiving in those bodies where you sit, where you are, where you're listening, where you're taking in the electromagnetic frequencies from in this moment or another moment, this transmission, as it is being received by you, is a full agreement with the multidimensional aspects of your own being, calling you to a higher expansion and experience of your own downloading, living embodiment of consciousness through what you perceive of as the body in form. Whoa, we say. Whoa, she says. We know you are as well, saying whoa. So that was a lot. And we know that we have literally, directly amplified your field of consciousness for you to take in all that we have said. And we say, yes, indeed. Listen to this one again and again and again. Let it fill up your field of awareness. Let it settle into the codes of light that you carry and that you are and that you have asked for at this time and what you perceive of the moments of now to amplify, wake you up, open you up, accelerate the consciousness that you are and the paradigm in which you are breaking free from. Because there are many degrees of what it seems like this matrix alignment participates in. And there are many degrees of paradigm realities that are opening and expanding for people. So it does not matter where you are, whether or not you are seemingly in a small town or a big city, or you are on the other side of what seems to be the world. You are in connection with each other. You are in connection with us. You are in connection with all that is. So remember that. What are you feeding in the electromagnetic field? What is it you are receiving in the electromagnetic field? What are you saying yes to in the electromagnetic field of the photonic belt of consciousness that is waking all beings up? So we say to you, these are the offerings we give you this day, and we hope that it takes in the most high ways for your acceleration. Stabilize with your own remembrance of the safety that you have right there where you are. For where you are at the heart of your beingness is safe always. There is no protection necessary, but we know how that game is played. Also, call into yourself the knowing, the remembrance, the love, the safety, the protection. Call to yourself that all is well and more than well, that all is divine and all is more than divine, that there is only life expressing life here as you are. There is only love expressing love as you are here. If you can continue to turn yourself back around to that knowing, to the opening of that window, and look out at the new day and see things from a new perspective, look with your new eyes, look with wonder, label not that which you see, but look with awe and wonder. You will behold a mystery unfolding upon and as you in the reflection of that which you are. It is beyond comprehension at this time, most of the time. Many of you are getting glimpses. Many of you have had glimpses. Many of you have had to pull yourself back from the glimpse that was so wide you thought death was imminent. We say to you, pull yourself back, stabilize, and look again. Open up wider to the concentration of light and love that is always there for you. We say this in a way, too, where we want you to take it literal for us at this time. So much of what we say is in expanded parts of consciousness. And in this moment, we say, take this literally. You are a part of the sacred experience of living light. You are so very sacred. Treat this that you are absolutely sacredly. Hold with so much reverence that you are life, looking out at all of creation through life's eyes. When you can do that with ease, with no attachment to anything, you have stepped into the place we are talking about, where there is only the grace of knowing. Love is what you are. Life is what you are. Perfection is what you are. And the ascension experience that you come to participate is happening through you, as you, connecting and anchoring. This is what you are all doing. So we say, what a beautiful day to drop in all of these aspects. This transmission, very strong and powerful for each one of you. Take it where you will. Let it permeate your consciousness. Allow it to even be said to you and received by you as you maybe take a drifting nap, or you do meditation, or you take yourself to sleep time. For this will then dissolve and settle into the integration of your consciousness and your codes of light and your DNA. This is a high power transmission at this time. Transaction 2, yes. So we would say to all of you, we hope this has helped, and we know it was very big. We say, is there any possible questions that we may answer this day for the fun of it? Hi,
Osairah.
Greetings, dear one.
I apologize. Seems to be a little bit of an echo. I have a question from Donna here. She says, Osairah, how can I heighten my awareness and become more present to what is happening in the other dimensions? How can I see beyond the veil, per se, in a way that my logical mind is capturing the magnitude of my multidimensional beingness?
First, we would say, try not, dearest one, Donna, to go to what is called the multidimensional beyond. Go to here. Be present with all that is here, here in this now moment of this matrix system that you are participating in. We know how it is. Our human friends want to go outside of themselves, but first you must travel inside and deeply have the perception awareness that is connecting you to all things. What happens then, dear Donna, is that this opens the door naturally from within, which is the only place for it to be perceived. It does not happen from a perception of how it is that you are speaking of wanting to get there from the mind. And that is the question. The question is, how do I get there? How do I open to? What do I do? All of that is from the mind. We are speaking to drop yourself down directly into the soul self and the center self, the consciousness of you. That is literally all that you are trying to get to. So being here with what and who and how it is that this is happening within you, one of the good ways to do that is you come back into center, aware of the observer of all that is, and watching how it is that the observer gets to observe all that is around you, as you, taking in the preciousness of what you perceive as the label of flower. If you are looking at a flower, you have a perception of the idea that this is flower, it is beauty, this is something I love. Can you deconstruct all of that and take it in as something that is beyond that? Can you look at the flower as consciousness itself? Can you remove your own films on your own lenses of perception, peeling away all that is, and remove all labels? When you remove all labels, you stand in a place where there is what you are seeking, where it becomes a part of the fabric of your consciousness. It moves in on you. So the doing is this: perceive, release from in here what it is you are experiencing out here. Because we will say to you, some of what is out here you have not even begun to perceive, to have a connection to. So the deepening comes from your surrender, not a to-dos. Can you go back, dear one, and ask us that first bit of the question again? We want to make sure we have answered.
Yes, the first bit was, how can I heighten my awareness and become more present to what is happening in the other dimensions?
And that is why, thank you, machine. And that is why we said it exactly as we did. So we did cover it. We would say that it is not a how, it is a way in. Everything is the manifestation of what is inside first. So your beautiful life experience, dearest Donna, and all of you, is literally birthing from within you, outside of yourself. You are sometimes trapped by the idea, which is a holographic experience within the matrix system of many layers of the matrix system, that says, if I do this, I will peel this back and I will get to something new. It doesn't work like that. You are collapsing what does not be the truth. You are collapsing what is not there. And then what becomes there is the truth of what is. That's what is the doing. I hope that helps. That was a lot too. Woo, we could go in on that question very deep and again and again and again. We like that question very much, Donna. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Osairah. If we have time, I don't see any other questions, but I have a question I'd love to ask based on the earlier part of today. My question is, do we need to be aware of the programs that we are running that aren't serving us in order to actually unplug from them? And is there a way to accelerate the process and to avoid getting stuck in mental constructs and attaching labels to things?
First part first, huh? Because because that was very chunked out. That's a big chunk and a big chunk. It would be another good 2 hours we could spend with Donna's question, your 2 questions. 2 hours more. So, yes, in fact, you do, to a certain extent, have to have an awareness of the programs you're running or have been running or have been implanted or that have been there. Now, sometimes when you hit certain points within the program, the point of program can collapse some other parts of the program that not is necessarily to be seen. So sometimes it's just a matter of getting to, I do that behavior. I've been always reacting from a very unconscious place in that behavior action. Wow, I've never seen it that way. Now I see that. That is not something that I participate in happily now. I see. I want not that. And so you begin to collapse that part of the program. There may be other pieces of the program that are attached to that that will collapse with it. So there are, if you can imagine, how should we say that? In some of your sacred geometry, you have sacred geometry pieces where you can see that how each part connects. If you take even the triangle, if there's here and there's here and there's here, if those are points of the program, this is one piece, this is one piece, this is one piece, but those all create more triangles and go back into infinity with your sacred geometry, because sacred geometry is all life. If you were to hit one of those points, it will collapse a few of those other points, but those will also bump into bigger points. If say that comes to another one, but it is a bigger point, you will have to address each one dependent upon how much of a consciousness block it has within the system of your internal experience of the matrix that you are carrying. Now that is a lot, because we will have to break down how it is that you are a part of the living matrix of the creation of the matrix, but you are also in a matrix creation that is not all completely your own simulated experience. So there are, yes, levels that need to be collapsed and had attention to, and not always will you have to see every single one. So the second part is a little more dicey. How shall we say that? So releasing the ideas around the labels. You can free yourself a bit more from the labels by softening your perspective of judgment. Judgment is what holds ideation and labeling and fixation and separation in place. Judgment does this. So labeling, is it a judgment to say a tree is a tree? Well, the truth is that a tree was given to you as tree. Yes, you were told a tree is tree, but when you stand back and you perceive, as we have said so many years in a row, we have said to many of our human friends, please stop, take in the wisdom that is called tree. The tree is magnificence and majesty and power and grace and carrying life force of concentration, of consciousness. And people are labeling it just a tree. You have been given the identifications to things which keep you separated from things, which keep you separated from the great mystery that is unfolding, that you are creating as unfolding. So this is a part of your own unwinding, and we are pointing some of the way. Can you step back and release some of your judgments and strangleholds on ideations of what is in this world or in this life or in this experience, and instead step back in a neutral kind of position? It is where we stand, in neutrality. If you stand back in neutrality and you are in awe and as the observer taken in by what it is that is perceiving, what it is you are experiencing as in this world called tree. Let go of tree and see the being that is there. So some of that may help. The question, we will say, is very complex, more thick than just a one-shot answer. So will you read it to us again, or say it, or you did not write it? Could you say it again?
I can. Both parts?
The second part,
The
preferably.
second part, is there a way to accelerate the process and avoid getting stuck in mental constructs?
Mm-hmm, 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 mm-hmm. The first part of that is the first part of the first question. It is to see that you are doing it, to see that you are in a mental construct of labeling anything, and then to pull yourself back from it and say, how do I stand here in neutrality to this experience, what seems to be something outside of myself I am labeling as either good or bad, a paradigm of experience within myself that I am saying is good or bad, right or wrong, a label. Oh, I am identified as this person, this way, this behavior. And as I identify myself to this behavior, oh, I am a bad person, or I'm a good person. Oh, I am a righteous person. Oh, I am a overeater. I am an alcoholic. I am a codependent. All these things that we know that you have these conversations with us about. These are identifiers that hold you to that matrix of belief of your smallness, of your littleness. If you step back, and we're not saying deny, but if you can step back and say, is that the I am that I am? Is this the presence of the concentration of the consciousness that is moving through this body consciousness? How you accelerate it is you realize that as your own attachment to it that permeates the field of your own amplification of it. To release it is to release by way of not identifying with it, seeing yourself as the wholeness. And yes, in part, contradictorily sounding, we know this is going to sound contradictory, that you also at the same time embrace it. There is an embracing that is necessary for all aspects of your being so that whatever it is that is not that which you are can melt through and off. So there is an acceptance, there is a surrender, there is a releasing, there is an opening, there is a way, there are all these ways, and you say, give me a way to, thank you, give me a way to expand my own ability to see that I am not these things. We say to you, this is some of the ways. We know that is a lot of complication, it seems. We are going to consider this question and the three of those questions. We like them very much. And we'd like to be having a bit of a conversation on that again at some time. So does this help, dear one?
So much. And yes, I'd love a bigger, longer conversation as well.
It is our joy. It is, we know, with languaging, so at times so very challenging for our human friends to take in the concepts. And one of the things we have been working with our beloved channel in many ways is how it is that the amplification comes through you as the direct experiencer rather than through languaging or learning. It becomes a direct experience. We are, as many teachers are, or guides are, or wisdom holders are, we are just the pointers of you, for you, as you. As we have said before, similar to the idea of we are your future, you are our past, we are pointing you. We are pointers towards what it is you are waking yourself up to. Like as if you did not know there was a mirror, no, not a mirror, you are in a room and you didn't know there was a window along the wall because it was covered over. But once you felt along the wall, you pulled the window and you looked out and there was a new scene. This is how it is for you in the construction of your own matrix system within yourself that you've come to unwind and unravel and deconstruct. And you are greatly challenged because you are not just in your own. This is a whole matrix of the holograph of all. You are multidimensional beyond multidimensional. You are all that exists. Goes back to that. And as you are all that exists, you are playing with all that exists. So isn't there in that moment the idea that maybe you could step back and completely surrender and just let the game be and happen through you? Because if you do, you peer through that new window and you see a whole new existence and you feel it as direct experience. It becomes the consciousness perceiving out of this form called the body of consciousness known as humans, as you. That we know we will stop there, because there is all of this that we have packed in so deep, big, 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 wide truths that are placement holders for you to amplify and digest within your own body systems, within your own mind, within your own heart, within your own soul, to wake your consciousness up to the next level of your own expansion. Let it take its perfect time in the divine timing of all that is orchestrating, all that is as you and through you. There is no wrong here, no missteps, no thing you've missed, no thing you've got to get to. There is only the beingness of that which you are, revealing itself to yourself as you are, through the others and through the others and through the others, as yourself, as this world is. The world is but you. That is why it is so imperative for you to remember that as you look upon another, no, you are only looking upon yourself. Your ego at times does want to take some good, righteous, so then I am so great, or then I am so wrong, I'm so bad. We don't mean it like that. You are all in a collaborative co-creation of consciousness expressing itself as the light quotient that it is, as creation. You are the creator and the creation. You are all that exists. You are, as we have said, hundreds, if not thousands of times, you are the darkest darkness and you are the lightest light. You are everything in between, and you are here to remember and feel and hold and know that through the form of what consciousness gets to have its way with, which is life. That is what you are. Embrace it, dear ones. Surrender to it. Your amplification is assured. The light of you is remembered, and the love of you is seen. It is known. It is felt. It is remembered. That is what you are doing. We are here for you along that journey. We absolutely love you, for you are the we that we know. We love you and look forward to more. We'll be the most loving and magical and happy. I do. Hi there. Hi. I'm a little dizzy. Sorry about that, guys. How was that? I feel like it was really big. It's moving through my body like a comet, like soaring through outer space. Hi. Okay, let's see. I love you guys for writing some wonderful things. Ooh, that question. So I'm going to have to look at this. What time is it? We're just about at an hour. How wonderful. Tracy. So I think you guys can all see what everybody's said. I'm in love with you all. Hello. 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 I'm in love with you all. That you are in on it. You get it. You're on it. You're in it. Wow. I love you all. Thank you so much for our connection and for this, our connection. Because right now, though I'm being recorded with you guys here live, and this will go out to many others, 20 or 30 or 40, I don't even know how many more people. I haven't looked at the list lately, but this is connecting this way online. Over the many years that I did the one-on-one sessions and also the workshops and the live group channelings, people got to connect that way. And that was so beautiful. And I want that still. And just so everybody knows, and a lot of you have done some of the work with me in workshops and stuff like that. But that is a super, super key point of us being in connection. Sometimes we cannot always be together in physical form. So I'm so grateful that we have this here to be in connection with each other this way. So start to know each other on the little message slides and love each other and send out love and light to each other, and hold the space that you're all in this beautiful and sacred container of our own growth, and awakening together. Yeah, so I'm feeling really strongly that pull. Just a couple little announcements. Some of you might already know this and have seen the announcements on email. I'm a part of a conversation of light being to light being, which is a new thing for sure, with Danielle Rama Hoffman, who's written many books, and Channel Thoth. And you can sign up for that. It's free. And there's 23 channelers having a conversation with her. Each day you get a new interview, conversation with light being to light being delivered to your inbox. So that should have come to you on a, okay, Laura's going to add the link so you could copy it and take it with you. Thank you, Laura. And or it's also in your email. If you're getting our emails, it's in your emails. And the only thing I'm going to say about emails is I've been buying new programs. I've been doing, we've been trying to untangle a bunch of the platform stuff about why emails don't get to people's inboxes, why they go promotions only. And a lot of times, even though you're signed up for something, it goes to spam. So we're trying to, I'm going to buy a whole nother new program now and a new way for everything to, sorry about that, come through my website and through emails. And so systems take a little bit of time getting it in place, but we're on it. There is the link. It's on the side there. So you can still sign up for free. You can still sign up for free for 3 days. It's a 24-day. Is it 24 days? I think it's 24 days in March. We just started at the beginning of this week. That every day you would get a, thank you, Laura, there it is, twice. You will get a light being to light being conversation. Not all of them are me. I'm only on there one time, but there are other channelers out there that are doing this with her. So that's pretty cool, sharing the channeling experience. And, you know, I'm open for that. So also, a couple things I'll just tell you guys here, as I always tell you first. I'm going to be in 2 documentaries. One might be a documentary series, a 3-part series. So that'll be coming up, and I'm pretty sure it's towards the middle to the end of this year. So I just want to give you a heads up. I'm so excited about that. It's about channeling, both of them, and awakening. And then I'll be on a podcast very soon. So look out for these emails. Don't let your weeks go by with you, not checking email and saying, do I have something from Grace or do I have something from Eternal Light Foundation? And if you think you're not getting them, email us and we will try to help you. Because there's a way to click on and make something not go to spam and always go to your inbox. I just don't know how to do it. But Laura does, and we can figure that out. When is Grace's date for the interview? I believe the 21st of March is when my interview date, will happen, unless they change the schedule. But as of now, March 21st is when my Osairah conversation will be there. So, or come to your inbox if you're signed up. So my dears, my sweets, I'm so grateful for our connection and our time this month. So much happening. Things are moving along. We are creating more. There's a lot of creation, a lot of videos coming, a lot of offerings coming. I'm just buzzing, and it takes time in the reality scheme of things to put this stuff together. So we're on it though. So if you love it, I love your support. I love you loving it on Facebook and loving it on Instagram and watching the YouTube videos and liking and commenting there, because that's super important for people to get more connected to me and Osairah and Mother Mary and all the stuff that is to come, because there's a lot more to come. So I love you all. I love you all. I love you all. I hope this was helpful. And I send you so much love, and always feel free to reach out to me and connect and let me know how you're doing, what things are going on. If this impacted your day or your week or your life in a certain way, any of our conversations or any of the things that Osairah has been doing or is doing on this particular one. So I love you all. Have a great, great rest of your week. And I will definitely see you on the first Wednesday of April. And so much love. More to come. Bye.